Ugh, I can't stand all of this scorching heat. I need a vacation, somewhere cold, somewhere so frigid that I never have to feel warm again. Much better. Skyrim, a premier vacation destination, a region to the far north of Tamriel, home of the Nords on a land built upon centuries of history. This is a place I want to go to travel through and see the places built upon this old soil. But I've heard tell of a few less than savory parts in Skyrim, places that you shouldn't visit under any circumstance. So to start my vacation off right, I want to evaluate where in the realm of Skyrim you could safely visit, and in the process, find out which city in Skyrim is the safest. So, let's start this journey of safety in Skyrim by crossing the board.
It's a Stormcloak! Capture him!
Wait. Huh. Well, seeing as we're being given a free cart ride, this will give us time to talk about some of the things we have to cover first. Skyrim as depicted in the hit game Skyrim, released in 2011, 2013, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2021. Skyrim, as depicted in the game, is currently embroiled in a civil war between the the Empire, and the Stormcloaks.
Skyrim belongs to the North!
Honey, dinner's ready.
Coming, sweetie.
It's not usually a great idea to visit somewhere currently at war, but we're gonna make an exception. For the sake of this analysis of Skyrim, we're going to evaluate it as if the war is currently in a standstill after the Dragonborn arrives, but before the Dragonborn gets involved. To do this, we'll be exploring the game on a completely fresh save file, and not engaging in any faction-specific quests. That covers one of the major problems we're gonna face. There is one more we gotta talk about, but unfortunately, it seems I have stumbled into an execution after my cart ride. Thankfully, before my head was lopped off, I was saved by the intervention of a local civil servant, the health inspector. He took one look at that dirty chopping block and knew this city had to be shut down. Honestly, I agree. Now, this sudden health and safety inspection from Alduin does mean we gotta address another problem. Dragons. They are obviously a big problem in Skyrim. They can appear in any overworld location and attack you whenever they please. However, these dragon attacks don't start until after the Dragonborn defeats their first dragon and meets the Greybeards at High Hrothgar. We're gonna use that same Civil War rule to say that any spontaneous dragon attacks won't happen during the course of our visit to Skyrim. And if any of you see that as a stupid rule in the comments, I'm taking away your modding privileges. With the Civil War and dragons covered, we can now leave the city of Helgen and start this survey properly. To judge the cities in Skyrim, we'll evaluate them on a few factors: their living quality, the security afforded to the citizens, the local government, as well as any risks involved being in or around the city. We have 9 cities across the map to go over: Whiterun, Windhelm, Solitude, Markarth, Riften, Morthal, Dawnstar, Falkreath, and Winterhold. We're gonna go through each city individually, but I first want to categorize some of the facilities we gotta look out for. Every city should have a place to stay, functioning law enforcement, medical facilities, and a good form of governance. Those are the first places we're gonna check with all of these cities. We're gonna count any type of business or facility that can fulfill these needs. Like Arcadia Cauldron in Whiterun isn't a doctor's office, but it does offer healing potions and is most likely the first place the townsfolk would go for their maladies. Nearly every city has some form of apothecary, except for Winterhold, which despite their general store having healing potions on the shelf, don't actually supply healing potions. Stingy. Winterhold does have an inn though, as does every single city in the game, but not all inns are made the same. Okay, who put the McDonald's in Riverwood? There does seem to be a franchise inn populating most of the smaller cities, with only the major holds of Whiterun, Solitude, Markarth, Riften, and Windhelm having unique layouts for their inns. But regardless of the fact that most inns in Skyrim have turned into Super 8s, they still all count for places to stay. And that will stay the same as we look at security. All of the towns have some form of guardsmen patrolling in them. The major cities also have walls or more defensive structures, but no city in the game is without protection. A few have some more unique groups to cover still. I've heard of a particular group of fighters in Whiterun who take care of handling the larger threats in the region, such as... Dad?
Good enough.
Well, that's taken care of. No thanks to you.
What?
The warriors known as the Companions, these guys, do help bolster the security of Whiterun, though they oddly smell like wet dogs. For government, we are not gonna find much different between each city. Every city has a Jarl, the leaders of each of the 9 holds across Skyrim. Each Jarl rules over the holds with 2 primary advisors, Housecarls and Stewards. Housecarls manage the security and defense of the hold and Jarl, while Stewards manage the trade and everyday needs of the city. Jarls will also have additional advisors such as court wizards, hold guard captains, and thanes they can appoint at their discretion. For the most part, these Jarls and their advisors work well enough. Except for one. I have to mention Jarl Siggeir of Falkreath. Siggeir took over Jarl from his uncle Dengir, and I'll just let him tell you how he runs things.
I'm a Jarl. I eat the most succulent meat, drink the finest ale, and hunt with the best hounds in the hold. Meanwhile, my very capable steward sees to the needs of the small folk and ensures that my hold runs smoothly.
That isn't being a Jarl, that's having a country club membership.
Being a Jarl could hardly be simpler. You should try it sometime.
Long live the king.
Outside of these 2 exceptions, we did find all the facilities we needed in Skyrim, which completes my initial survey. I am ready to present my findings, the initial safety assessment of Skyrim. I've marked out every single city with their categories in red, green, or yellow. Green meaning good, yellow meaning moderate, and red being poor like my bank account after a Steam summer sale. To understand these grades I have given, let's go through each city and I'll explain my findings, starting at Whiterun. This is a staple, the first city you think of when Skyrim gets re-released for the 20th time, and it's also the standard for what we're hoping to see safety-wise. Whiterun is given some of the highest ratings across the board for its reliable qualities. We have every common facility on hand inside a walled, well-defended hilltop, headed by Jarl Bulgriff, who quickly shows his prowess in governing by immediately seeking to defend his people in Riverwood when news of the health inspector reaches his doorstep. Now, not everything is peachy. The Hall of the Dead in the city did seem to have an undead problem inside. I've heard rumors of werewolves around Whiterun.
Hey, how you doing?
And there also happens to be an ongoing dispute between 2 of the major families in the city. That's without mentioning that outside of the walls, you can face some of the most dangerous enemies in the giants and mammoths wandering around the plains. Oh wow, what a majestic mammoth! But as we mentioned earlier, the companions help to mitigate the danger of these larger threats, and the undead are very common among the tombs and grave sites in Skyrim, even in other cities. Unfortunately, in my capacity as safety inspector, I couldn't verify the werewolf allegations, but I'll make a note about the townsfolk's superstitions in my files. Whiterun, by far, sits as a safe in my book, and a textbook example of what we're looking for. That's also without mentioning one of the best benefits of Whiterun, the carriage.
Need a ride?
The major cities in Skyrim all have carriages outside their walls, which for a small fee will take you to any other city in the game. This carriage ride is completely safe, bypassing most of the dangers you can find on the road. The sheer aura of this man repels bandits and dragons alike, but only 5 of the 9 cities have carriages. They can take you to any city, but go to any of the smaller ones and you won't have a carriage ride back. That is unfortunately a big disadvantage as threats on the road become more prevalent to these towns, and especially is a problem for Falkreath. We already mentioned the governing happening in Falkreath, but the actual town itself is pretty nice. It's comfortable, quiet, and while the town has an overall somber vibe to it, I actually quite like it. The biggest thing about Falkreath is the graveyard, present in the north, encroaching into the town itself. Many Nords come to Falkreath to be laid to rest among the great warriors that have been buried here, and the tombs are home to a great many of folk heroes. Unfortunately, one of the nearby tombs right next to the city has a Spriggan infestation. Not a great sign. Not to mention the very active bandits just on the road outside town, which I learned actually struck a deal with Mr. Country Club to allow them to be here. So not only are there a lot of bandits, they're state sanctioned. Seriously, stepping out of Falkreath is just asking for trouble.
What is the music of life?
Oh, we're getting out of here. Riften. Now this is a town I can get behind. The southeastern city, warmest climate of the group, and one of the most beautiful places to be in, I'd argue. It was built on the shores of Lake Honrich, which I'm hoping I'm saying right. Riften is a bustling city of trade and commerce with gorgeous wooden architecture and stunning waterways cutting through the streets. Honestly, this is the city I want to visit the most. One thing I didn't know beforehand is that you do need to pay a tax to enter at the gate. Something I've never heard of a city in Skyrim doing, but hey, rules are rules. As long as we can visit the city proper.
I don't know you. You and Riften looking for trouble?
I'm really getting tired of your excuses.
But how was I to know the shipment would get robbed?
Next time, keep your plans quieter, and nothing would have happened to it.
Are you telling me you robbed it? Why? Why are you doing this to me?
Oh, okay, well, we can...
What in the name of oblivion do you want? Of course, I have the Jarls here, and the guards in my pocket. Anyone makes trouble for me, and I pay a visit to the Thieves Guild. Make me angry, and I contact the Dark Brotherhood. You do well to remember that the next time you make such a stupid observation.
Jesus
Out of my
Christ,
way.
lady, I just got here.
Ever done an honest day's work in your life for all that coin you're carrying, hey lad? I've got a bit of an errand to perform, but I need an extra pair of hands. You're gonna steal Medesi's silver ring from a strongbox under his stand.
Objection!
No lollygagging.
We got some serious problems in Riften. Within moments of entering the gates, we have threats, shakedowns, a criminal oligarch flaunting in the streets, and some random guy in the market asking random people to steal things for him. There's open discussion across the town about an active thieves guild harbored within the city. Knowing all of this, I went straight to the Jarl to report this madness going on in her city. And you want to know what she said?
Maven Blackbriar has assured me that they're being dealt with appropriately. As one of our city's most influential citizens, she's taken it upon herself to oversee their incarceration.
And I pay a visit to the Thieves Guild.
Yeah, she's doing a great job at that, Layla. Great job. We don't even need to mention the thugs in the Ratway or the nearby bandit stronghold on the road. We have enough to make a conclusion on Riften. Unsafe. Don't go here. Put that Arasaka logo on. Go get him, Johnny.
Your body, I'll fuck.
Man, that was disappointing. We really need a break from all of these corrupt cities, and maybe the quiet mining town of Dawnstar will be perfect for the rest and relaxation we need. Well, not so much the rest part. The small city is perfectly fine by itself, extremely cold, but features all of the facilities we expect. It has a small port to sail in from, to successful mining operations, and despite some conflicts in the government leaders, seems to be managed well enough. The issues come from two major things. First being no carriages, which makes the road you have to travel out of Dawnstar very fun to walk through. And then there's the rest part, or lack of rest. The fact that literally nobody in the city has gotten proper sleep in weeks. See, the town is suffering from a shared case of severe insomnia, caused by intense nightmares you experience whenever you try to sleep within the city. Everyone warns you about coming to Dawnstar.
You're wrong to come here, stranger. No rest in Dawnstar.
A local priest in the inn claims that the temple resting above the city is the cause for these nightmares. Something about a Daedric prince or whatever. I don't know, I'm an inspector, not a cardinal. Until the origin of the affliction affecting the city is found, you have to be careful going to Dawnstar. It's not outright lethal, but sleep deprivation can be very harmful. You could visit for a day, have one fun nightmare night, then dip out the next morning. Honestly, add that to their tourism guide. It'd be a hit with the lucid dreaming crowd. Windhelm, another walled city. It's a lot colder than the other major cities we've come across, but we got some promising things to cover. It's the first major port town we've seen, and one of the oldest cities in Skyrim. You can learn a lot about the history of the Nords and culture of Skyrim from places like Candlehearth Hall, or the Palace of Kings. Before we go in though, I did decide to change my looks to a dark elf for a bit. Thought it'd be fun to try a new look. Anyways, let's check out the city.
Don't cross me, elf.
Every night, the damn grayskin. Go back to Morrowind.
Maybe you should just move along.
Them dark elves live like animals.
Maybe a new look. This one isn't working for me. I could try Argonian. I've never really been Argonian before.
Stay out of trouble, lizard.
Now, if you'll excuse
We
me.
ought to dig a big hole. Throw all them dark elves and Argonians in it.
Trust me, marsh friend. You do not want to live in this city.
Oh dear lord, we gotta talk about the racism, don't we? Hi, do you know what segregation is? I do, and I wasn't expecting to talk about it today, but here we are now. In Windhelm, we have two unique forms of segregation, the Grey Quarter and the Argonian Assemblage. To very quickly lore dump, a long time ago, a group of Dark Elf refugees arrived in Windhelm to escape an eruption of the Red Mountain in Morrowind. These dark elves settled in the snow quarter of Windhelm, which later on was called the Grey Quarter, a name given to them by the Nords who were discontent with their presence in an old Nordic city. This has led to a form of soft segregation, as the dark elves can only feel safe in the city within the slums the Nords leave them in. And if this is soft segregation, the Argonians in Windhelm were given hard segregation. By decree of Jarl Ulfric, the Argonians were to be kept out of the city and put into the Argonian assemblage at the docks, literally forced to be dock workers in a very, very small slum. Ulfric, what the fuck? Even if you are a Nord visiting Windhelm, there's still problems I found with being here. If you come in from the sea, there's an active group of pirates you have to be wary of. And my visit to the city also happened to be during a serial killer spree of murders targeting young women. So to survive in Windhelm, you have to be Nord, male, and Stormcloak supporting. Windhelm's unsafe. Morthal, a quiet country town with an unassuming vibe to it. Though immediately we gotta note the dangerous swampland surrounding the town of Morthal, infested with spiders and an army of mudcrabs. The city itself, however, seems pretty nice. Both the government and the living quality seem on par with what I'd expect everywhere else. But there was one issue. When I arrived in Morthal, it was after a recent fire broke out and took the lives of a woman and child in their own home. And there's even controversy amongst the townsfolk about the surviving father, moving in with a new woman immediately after. I did decide to investigate the fire a bit, and did find a mysterious blue child skulking around the remains.
I'm not scared anymore, but I'm lonely. Will you play with me?
Look, the house may be burned down, but this is still loitering, kid. What this all led me to was finding out that this woman, Alva, is a vampire, who is currently in the process of charming every guardsman in the town to allow her master and his coven of vampires to take over Morthal and turn it into a blood farm. Look, I can excuse sexy vampire invasions, but I draw the line at unsanitary blood-sucking. Clean those fangs before you feast, lady. I'm getting real tired of all these unsafe places. Ugh. What's next? Markarth! Okay. A beautiful city, nestled to the far west of Skyrim. We haven't had a lot of luck finding safe places around here, but I have a good feeling about this one, I swear to Molag Ball! Alright, Markarth. Pretty location, but trying to get here will put you straight through a group named the Forsworn, native people of the Reach who were kicked out of their homes by the Empire and Nords. But my god, are they not going out easily. You're gonna need to stick to carriages to get here. But you don't even need the Forsworn to make you feel unwelcome. The locals are even more unwelcoming. Markarth guards and officials will remind you to not stick your nose in any of their business the entire time you're staying here. It's not racism like Windhelm, they just hate everyone equally. Poverty is also a major problem here in Markarth. Every city has a bit of homelessness, but only Markarth has a dedicated hole for all of their poorest citizens. And let me tell you, the Argonian assemblage looks amazing compared to the Warrens. And all of that isn't really the worst part. On top of extreme poverty, forsworn, and hostile locals, Markarth also features the most unique prison of the bunch. To discuss this prison, I have to do something very unbecoming of a safety inspector. I have to break the law. I know. This will cause my conduct to be put under review with the board, but it must be done. I stood at the center of Markarth and stole a few pieces of meat off the market stall. Don't worry, I immediately turned myself in, but I will never forget what I've done.
It's off to the Sidna mine for you.
Whoa, wait, all I did was steal some meat! Allow me to summarize. I was shipped off to be an incarcerated worker inside of a dangerous mine, all because I stole 1 gold's worth of meat. This is Sidna Mine, and you are not allowed to leave until you work off your time. Look, I'm not here to argue the morality of penal labor as a form of punishment for a crime. But I am gonna say that your bounty should be at least worth 2 gold before they stuff you in a mine shaft with a rag on your back. Markarth, unsafe. Please, for the love of Talos, one of these cities has to be safe, right? Right? Winterhold, the smallest city we can find in the game. Only a handful of buildings on a small street. And the only city to not have all facilities as we mentioned earlier. It also doesn't have a carriage and requires the longest trek from city to reach it. All to reach a town of 4 buildings. And you'll probably just stay at the inn the whole time. It's so freezing cold that the opening joke of this video was made right over there. Obviously, the whole point of Winterhold isn't the town, it's the College of Winterhold, where everything missing in the city itself is available within the college campus. There's serious consideration to have for Winterhold having the best security in Skyrim, but that protection is hard to call truly safe. The city used to be a lot more than just 4 intact buildings. It used to be a city on par with Windhelm or Whiterun, but an event known as the Great Collapse saw nearly all of Winterhold fall into the sea, except the college. The mages claim that the powerful earthquakes from the Red Mountain eruptions caused the collapse, but the few remaining Winterhold citizens believe the mages to be at fault for their unnatural and sudden fall of their great city. With no evidence either way, we'll never really know which one it is. It's not as bad as Markarth or Riften, but Winterhold isn't worth it for the regular visitor. Oh, and before you try it, if you can't do magic, you can't go into college. Nice try. I thought there'd be at least a few cities that you could safely go through as a regular person, but only one has fit the criteria at all. And if I'm honest, the last city of Solitude doesn't look much better. The first thing we see entering the city is a public execution. I'm just waiting for the next dangerous thing to pop out at me while I'm sitting here. Wait a second. Nobody's gonna come rob me? No vampires? Thugs? Not even a mine to stuff me in? Oh my god. Solitude. The largest city in the game, the throne of the High King of Skyrim, and relatively peaceful. Getting to Solitude can be done either by carriage or by sea, but the path from Solitude to the town of Dragon's Bridge is also one of the few without any hazards along the path. That's on top of being walled on an isolated, elevated arch. That's a solid foundation on the outside, and it gets better on the inside. We have all facilities and the largest security detail of any city. Unlike places like Riften, there aren't any places you can get attacked the moment you walk in, and unlike Markarth, they put you in a normal dungeon like civilized people. The Jarl, too, seems rather good. Jarl Elisif is shown to be inexperienced and a little overzealous, but caring, and she has a good balance of advisors. I fully inspected the palace too, and even the abandoned wing didn't have much to worry about. Where am I?
Sheogorath, Daedric Prince of Madness, at your service.
Guy, I don't know if I can use this thing. It's kind of hard to control. Huh, weird dream. There are dangers we can find here in Solitude, like the pirates we see in Windhelm. And there is an argument against the security of the city since the Blue Palace was where the High King of Skyrim was murdered by Ulfric Stormcloak. Speaking of which, this is also the home of the Legion, so being anywhere near Stormcloak supporting in Solitude leaves you like this guy. But if you're for the Empire or not involved in the Civil War, Solitude seems like a pretty safe place to be. We did it! We found another city that's safe! We can start planning our trip to Skyrim. All we gotta do now is chart our trip from 2 cities. What, we sail to Solitude, carriage ride to Whiterun, and that's it? We'll barely see anything of Skyrim, 22% of all cities, and we can't even go outside the walls? What kind of vacation is this? I know the whole point of this was safety, but I don't want to just see a couple of buildings inside of 2 towns. I want to climb the 7,000 steps, stand in front of Bleak Falls Barrow, gaze into the world of Blackreach, and yes, see a dragon. There's a ton of risk in doing all of that, but to hell with the risk. To hell with it. You knew before clicking on this video that Skyrim wasn't a safe place to be. That's the entire point. If there wasn't a civil war to wage, dragons to slay, plots to uncover, and dangers abound, it wouldn't be nearly as interesting of a fantasy world if you could explore it without all the risk. The game of Skyrim is a big theme park with attractions at every corner, and every ride at the theme park always has a little danger to it. If you want to visit Skyrim and enjoy this park to its fullest, feel free to go wherever the wind takes you. Just make sure to keep the things we talked about today in mind as you go on your journey. Skyrim is a big, dangerous place, but if you come prepared, maybe with a friend, you can tackle anything this wide world has to offer. But I did say at the start of this video that I'd find the safest city in Skyrim. And after evaluating every single one, I can officially reveal that the safest city in Skyrim is Riverwood. None of them beat Riverwood. There's like 2 wolves at most. Just go marry Ognar and settle down. He cooks, not much else. That's all you need. Just stay in Riverwood.